This is episode 85 of the Wilderness Locals podcast. On this episode, Waste Dog and I talk about my upcoming goat hunt, social media, and we just generally shoot the breeze and have a good time. This episode is brought to you by Kifaru International, the toughest hunting gear on the planet. Right now, Kifaru's just launched 2 new packs and a fishing rig and all kinds of stuff, so head over there and check it out. Kifaru.net. And as always, this podcast is brought to you by Just Shooting Arrows, BC's premier archery shop.
When are you leaving for your goat?
Let's look here. About a week. Yes, sir. About a week.
Are you going to be the alpine carnivore when you get there?
No, I'll probably just eat like peaks and like noodles. I actually really like those guys' videos. They make some cool videos.
No, I've never watched.
Do you have any more names to add to your list?
No, I did, but I haven't been on social media much.
Yeah, you've been steady dying.
No, not too bad. Like, just going on with life, but just a little sick still, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's hard to shake it, eh? Like, just seems to just drag on and on. You think you're better, and then sucks.
Yeah, I like the one thing I don't like is tasting. I like tasting food.
Yeah, no kidding. It takes a lot of joy out of life if you can't, taste.
It's okay. I need to lose weight anyway.
I guess it's hard to like eat for comfort or just for the sake of eating if you can't taste it. Hey.
Yep, that's right.
Oh yeah. So logistically, the goat hunt has changed a little bit. They were back kind of plowing to where we wanted to start hiking from, and that has since changed. They are no longer plowing, so there is many feet of snow on the road in. So we will be sledding, which is I don't know if it's cool or not, but I think it's cool. I think it'd be fun.
Have you ever sledded before?
Not really, but I mean, I don't know. I grew up racing dirt bikes and stuff. Same, I guess.
Yeah, you just make sure you throw your weight right if you're side hilling and stuff, right? That's all. No, that's what gets people, because a lot of people think you can just sit there and turn the handlebars, but you actually got to throw your weight around a bit.
Yeah, no, I haven't done much sledding, but fun fact about Tyler, I had a factory bicycle sponsorship for 10 years of my life or something. And
was it with Huffy or?
No, it's a Canadian company, but I grew up racing dirt bikes and BMX and downhill and all kinds of crap. Very West Coast of me.
Yeah, that's the one thing I noticed when I went to BC. Everybody had a pedal bike.
Oh yeah, everybody's got a pedal bike and they just have a joint hanging out of their mouth apparently. Oh man,
yeah, that'll be all right though. You just got to get above tree line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're basically what we're gonna do is I have 5 main kind of points of interest. So I'm trying to think of how to explain it for people at home, but so when we went in, there was the kind of main sort of ridge that we hiked when we got on those 3 billies.
Mm-hmm.
The face below that into the tree line, there's 3 fingers there that run outward towards that lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to glass those. They don't have as much south exposure as we would like for this time of year, but given the density of this draw unit, there's a good chance there's going to be goats in there. We're going to glass that main wall where we had that billy at 350, kind of one of our last days there.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to glass that main wall again. We already have eyes on a goat there. My buddy Brandon was back there and glassed up a goat that was kind of chilling where he was back in August. So that's great. And then you remember it was either the last or the second to last day when you and I split up and you wrapped around that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The backside of that mountain, there's some pretty good exposed southern facing windswept stuff that we can actually get access below to glass from the bottom. So we're going to try to glass all 5 of those spots. There's 2 spots over there, but we're going to try to glass all 5 of those spots from the bottom. There's on day 1, there will be 5 of us. We have another guy coming to help glass on day 1 now. So we're going to basically just do the circuit, dump a guy off at each spot, and then kind of regroup, I think, midday and figure out where we're at.
That spot where I circled around on that cliff, it's kind of cool because it's like there's these little spots. They're just wide enough for you like to like hop on, you know, like I kept jumping up and up, kind of just hiking up, and but everywhere else was just sheer cliff.
Yeah.
But I could pick my way up through the cliffs as long as I didn't slip or something, right?
Yeah, and die. A lot of that country is like that, though. Hey, like it's this particular unit is pretty accessible. Yeah. I'd love to go back there again in summer if we ever draw the tag again. It'd be cool. But
can I put in for draws or no?
No, you can't. Unfortunately, I wish you could. There's a lot of draws I'd like to get you in on, but you know that is the thing about BC though. Like outside of sheep and like Roosevelt opportunities, and then some like moose hunting opportunities. There's still over the counter moose hunting opportunity, but like mostly everything you can hunt here over the counter every year. Like you can even hunt bison now every year here as over the counter and as a non-resident, right? So the only thing you can't really do is just sheep.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, they took bison away in Alberta.
Yeah.
But
is the herd hurting there? I have no idea, honestly.
They must be if they've taken it away the last 3 or 4 years. So they must be hurting. It was all lotto too. I don't know how many. They would take a handful of tags every year.
Oh yeah.
But free range wild herd. It wasn't a like a introduced herd or anything.
Yeah, that's really cool. I do think we need to do that in the next couple of years here because there is over the counter opportunity here in BC that you can get in on, and I would like to see you put an arrow through a bison here pretty quick.
I think that's one of them things is like research, and have to like maybe go on a scouting trip.
You know what's really funny about that is I know some guys that went this year. Super green dudes. Like, I don't know if any of them had killed anything before. They're like friends of friends type deal. And they went and they asked around and got a rough idea of where the bison herd would kind of be in the general area that they were going. And I think like on day 1, they cut a track and just stayed on it. And then like, I think day 3, there was a group of 4 that all had tags. And on day 3, I think they killed 3 of them. And then on, I think day 5 or 6, they caught up with some nice big mature bulls, but they didn't take a shot. But a group of 4 took 3 of them, and I think they were only out for 5 days. But like you say, I think it's kind of knowing where they're going to be, and then if you don't know where they're going to be, I think it's just luck running into the herd at the right time, right?
Yeah.
I think they can put on some big miles too, right?
They're pretty hardy. They can travel.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, though, I've also heard like guys that really know what they're doing, like even guides and outfitters in that area just getting skunked for many weeks at a time, right?
Yeah. But are you what boots are you wearing up there?
Zamberlan 2092s, and then I will run a liner sock, another like standard hiking sock, and then I'll probably have a couple pairs of those heat holders to swap out for when we're stationary. And I need to get my feet warm. Those are sweet. I like those. I'm really stoked though, man. Like it's gonna be fun. I've had all my gear pretty well settled in for a month now.
Are you guys planning on like camping up there?
Yeah, so we have a lot of downtime at night, right? Like it's going to be, I think we'll have light from like 8 to 5. So not very long hours to work, right? So it depends. Like on the first day, it might make sense for us to go back to town, warm up and kind of regroup and figure stuff out, look at maps together as a group. And then I think as soon as we head up the mountain, we'll have to stay up the mountain. But from the bottom, we'll have pretty good access in and out on sleds.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. It depends when we get on goats, and it depends when we go up the mountain, right? But yeah, no, I think we're all going to be packing shelters and sleeping stuff and yada yada, you know.
Mm-hmm. Did that mountain gear stick come in or for this trip?
No, he's just finishing those mountain sticks right now. He did ship us some bipods, which I'm pretty excited about, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
those look super super cool.
That mountain stick would be handy to so you don't slide off the mountain.
Yeah, I got some axes and stuff dialed in here, but yeah, no, that'll be great going forward. The new version he didn't have quite ready yet when he was shipping us stuff, so probably in the springtime we'll get one of those, and I don't know what we do with it, but it'll be fun.
We haven't podcasted in a while, like a week.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've been working and you know, I have a baby and stuff too. So we have a podcast lined up tomorrow too with Barclow and I think Trevor. Be cool.
Backstrap Boys episode 2.
That's right. Yeah, talk some smack. I get some. I've been steady getting messages about that episode. People thought it was pretty funny.
Cool. So what else? Did anybody ask any questions last night?
Oh yeah, just mostly dumb crap. But you know what I want to ask you about? What's going on with your mower? You talked to Trent the other day on it, eh?
Yeah, I mean, Trent sat on the phone for like an hour, went over the build details.
You guys are best friends now?
Yeah, Trent's a wicked dude, man.
You and Trent are like me and Cam.
Yeah. Yeah. Trent,
Hey, do you think Cam would laugh if I started making videos like one day after Cam Haynes reposts the podcast, I'm just like out running, and like 2 days after Cam Haynes reposts the podcast, I'm just like, I got like a muscle shirt on and I'm pointing, waving at people while I'm running, and like 3 days, like just do the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he'd laugh, or do you think I was taking the piss out of him?
No, he'd probably laugh, I guess.
Yeah, I gotta start running then.
Yeah, so we went over the build, and we're just doing and so everything I'm gonna do a Jaeger grip.
Oh, sick.
Which if people don't know is like, it doesn't have a roll off on either side. It's just straight edge or flat. And he's going to narrow it up to a certain degree. I don't like big fat grips. I like to hold skinny grips. So
you're talking almost like a compound grip at that point, basically, right?
Yeah, as much as I can be
nice.
Like, it's taken me a while, taking me a lot of years to figure out kind of what I like for grips, eh?
Yeah.
And the importance of it. I didn't realize how important it was on wood bows, because every boyer makes their own style of grip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them give you some options, and it's the same thing, right? It's like you get the Snyder style, which is a roll off left, or you get I think a Jenkins style is like a roll off right, and like a Cooling or a Jaeger style, I think is straight both sides. So
yeah, when I was shooting that Satori, what's the company's name? I think it's called RC Core. They're actually out of Greece, believe it or not, but he does these like super wicked like custom grips. You like shoot the guy a message and you go back and forth with them and basically build your grip. And he sent me this one. It was like basically a Jaeger grip with like a little bit of a thumb rest built into it. Very cool grip. Anyways, it said locals down the spine of it. Like, but yeah, no, that Jaeger style grip, like, I mean, both of us come off compounds, right? So it kind of makes sense for us to be into that super low angle grip, right?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too. It's you know, like it just depends too. I actually had a bowyer make me a bow one time, and I took it home and I shot it for about a week, and I took it back and I said, we got to put this on the sander, my guy. So I stood right in his shop and we augured a whole bunch of material off that. And it turned out, you know, that's what I was trying to get back to, was a Jaeger style with what we were doing, right?
You were that guy, eh? You're just standing over his shoulder. When I had the shop, man, when people would come, like people would like show up at the shop and like want to hang out and watch us work or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm charging you more. You stand here and watch me weld or machine something or whatever, right? I'm like, this is not happening. Get the hell out of here.
So, so I don't know if I was supposed to say anything, but so anyway, Trent has a new style of limb.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with that limb. And I don't think he sold that limb to anybody yet.
Ooh, what is it?
It's just got more of a curve to it, but it's not a super curve. It's just
it's not like a 4,500 feet per second super recurve.
No, it just does. Okay. But it's more of a smoother draw. He said not much gain, a couple feet per second, but it's more of a smoother draw. And he had asked me if that was something I was interested in, so I think we're going to go that route. We'll so with them limbs, he's just I told him, just make them camo painted with matte color, doll them up as much as you can. Sweet. And just plain riser, mono rest, and 3/16 cut past center. And it's going to be a 18-inch riser, 64-inch overall. And I told him anywhere from 48 to 51 pounds on that.
Are you just building a bow that I absolutely can't steal from you because it's so big? Is that your whole plan?
Yeah. And there's such a thirst for bows in that 50-pound range. Anything custom, because the wait times from pretty much all bowyers now are really high. Mm-hmm. So the wait times are high. So everyone is looking for bows that are in that 48 to 51, 55 pound range. And that's where I want to be anyway. But
yeah,
I know when I put my Tolkien on leather wall, it was gone in a day. So
it had that waist dog mojo. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got a bow with your name on it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite part of custom bows. So I've ordered a few custom bows now, right? Like a couple bows from South, and then a couple bows from Jared Tolkien. Mm-hmm. And specifically with Jared, man, it's like my favorite part about ordering one of those bows is just like dealing with the dude directly that is making your bow. You know, it's like you like have these conversations, you go over all the stuff, you tell him what you're gonna do with it, and like it shows up whenever it shows up, and it's like it's exactly what you want, and you're just hyped because you know that person like listened to you and put so much thought and consideration into what they were making for you specifically, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I just think that's really, really cool. And it's like one of those things that, like in what year is it? 2022. Everything's like bubble wrapped and shows up at your door in a day from Amazon Prime, and it's so blah.
Yeah, it's like I like the cut. Like, I think it's fun, man. I think half of it's like guys that buy lots of guns. Like, it's fun. It's fun.
Which I'm turning into. I don't know what the hell is going on.
It's fun to get bows built. It's just fun to go through the process. It's fun to get them in the mail. It's like Christmas Day when they show up and going through the process of tuning and setting them up. Yeah. This will be my, I think this is my 5th or 6th custom bow now. And before that, I've had Bear Montanas, Bear Kodiaks, fucking Samick Sage.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite non-custom bow?
Man, like, well, I never owned one, but I always wanted one just for the nostalgia of it. Was a Bear 59 Kodiak with a maple riser and them caramel the caramel bellies on them limbs. I think that was. That was the 59.
You see a lot of them broken right through the shelf, hey?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Online you do anyway. I think that Satori that I was shooting a medium riser and short Uka monolithic carbon limbs. Like, that damn thing's almost a compound bow. Like, that thing was killer, man. Yeah. I remember last year, I think, was it last year or the year before? I think the year before now, man. This freaking COVID freaking time warp here. But a couple of years ago now, I shot a 3D with it. And I'm like, man, my gaps are just so small. Like on this bow, because I'm just boogieing, like
the Uka limbs are kind of interesting. Hey, like I heard Trad Lab just dry firing them, trying to blow them up. I don't remember how many times he did it, but they didn't blow up, which was crazy.
I don't know if I'd do that.
Just like draw it back, let the string blow up.
Have you had many failures? Like many equipment failures? I'm trying to think of ones that I've had that I haven't caused, and all of my shit exploding has been me screwing it up pretty well.
Yeah, I've had some limbs explode. That Jack Kemphy had a different new set of limbs. They were called Wildcat limbs.
Nice.
And, like, I got a 31-inch draw, right? So when I'm pulling on limbs, like I'm 6'2", 250. When I pull on a bow, like I'm ripping the fucking limbs off, right? So it didn't take 200 arrows, and the top limb exploded.
Oh yeah.
Which is rare. And then I was shooting a border one time, a buddy's border, and the fucking bottom limb blew right off the fucking thing, like exploded in half, like major catastrophe. And that's what scared me about that border I had. I was like, God, fuck these limbs. And they're so expensive. They're 1,200 pounds, which is basically like
$2,400.
Yeah, $2+ grand Canadian for these fucking limbs from border. And it always scared me. I'm like, a matter of time. Like, it's a matter of time for these limbs explode. And that's one of the main reasons I went back to just a traditional style recurve. And somebody you can talk to that's in the same fucking continent. Like with Trent Wingard, if I have problems with Trent's limbs, I just gonna phone him. Be like, hey man, I had a limb explode. He's like, oh yeah, no worries, we'll get you a limb. Try to deal with people in Scotland. You have to get up at fucking midnight or 1 a.m. to phone them. It's fucking terrible. And I remember when I started dealing with border, I was like, hey, I'm looking at, this Covert Hunter 64-inch. Like I just wanted to ask, how durable your bow is. I plan on taking it into the backcountry and really working it. She's like, oh, so what are you saying to us, that you're going to abuse this bow and then what? Is it going to blow up on you? And like right out of the gate, I should have knew there was red flags with that company. And like, Sid, he was awesome to deal with. Sid did help me out at the very end when my riser cracked in 4 or 5 different places. And I messaged Sid and I said, you know, he's like, yeah, just pay for the shipping, whatever, and I'll fix it. So that's what I did. And then I sold it. After that was it. That was the last, but I don't know. I think there's so many great North American bow manufacturers. Personally, I don't think a guy needs to be over there buying bows.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're good folks or whatever, but yeah, like you say, it is. There's so many good warriors now, man. It's like, I don't know. It's pretty hard to even pick one to deal with, you know, with so many good options.
Yeah, and that was another reason too. Like, I am so attracted to these G10 risers.
Durability.
Oh fuck, dude! Like every wood riser I've had, it's just fucking cracked. Like that Samick Sage I had fucking cracks like so long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they run right. I haven't. They like, that Samick Sage had cracks that run right up the fucking middle, and then this Jack Kempf I have has got just a freaking wicked crack right under the shelf going down the center. That border, it cracked in freaking 5 different places. Like just wood risers in general, they just don't seem to take it for very long, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a video of me. Oh no, I'm actually not going to talk about it. Yeah,
I wish you would have shared that. I wish you would have shared that video.
No. Let's not talk about it. I'm trying to think of like bow failures I've had with compounds, and like I can't think of anything really. Like, I mean, I think a compound, like a modern compound nowadays, is so refined. Like, you don't really get into failures. What you get into more is like rests and shit like that moving when you're in the middle of nowhere and not having the tools to fix it, you know?
Oh, dude, I was shooting with a guy one time. Actually, my brother-in-law, and he was new and he wanted to get into archery, which he ended up not getting into archery. He did one hunting season, then he quit. But he had bought a Matthews. I got him a Matthews. Fuck, this is back in the day. I don't remember what it was. And he bought this Matthews off my cousin, and I'm helping him set it up, and he's shooting pretty good. We're at 20 yards, you know, and he's shooting, and we both draw back, and I shoot, and then bang, he shoots. He forgot to knock an arrow.
Oh shit!
He blew the fucking strings right off that bitch.
You know, something that I find a bit, how do I say it? Like, I don't know. I kind of find it unnerving. I'm probably going to offend people here, actually, now that I think about it, but I find it a bit odd how so many dudes are so balls deep into archery, but can't tie a D-loop or can't serve or can't tie a constrictor knot.
Do you know what I find fucking absolutely mind blowing, and and part of it, like I came from it, was guys that are so deep into archery but don't understand how to tune. It's fucking terrifying how many guys just load it up, take it to the pro shop, and say, yeah, make it shoot, which is fine. You can do that, but I strongly feel like guys should be like, yeah, I want to. Teach me how to tune. How do I properly spine arrows? You know, how do I paper tune? How do I walk back tune? Like, how do I do these things? And then nobody wants to fucking learn, man. They just hit the easy button, take her to the pro shop. And then when they actually are out hunting and they have, they miss a deer and their arrow's flying fucking sideways for 60 feet. And they're shooting right over the back of a deer or an elk. And they're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on. They're looking at their bow like it's from outer space. Like, that was a big old eye opener when I went from compound to trad in 2014, man. It just showed me how stupid I was. Like, cause I had to learn all that shit, right? Because I was that guy. I was that guy that would just go to the pro shop and be like, hey, screw 100 grain tip on this 350 and 70 pounds and fucking cut her an inch long in front of your drop way and away you go.
Jesus. Yeah.
and that's acceptable.
Have a 17-inch tear.
And the pro shops, and not to knock them, but they want to get guys in and out. They don't want to sit there and fuck around and tune bows. They will spend time on your bow if you're having some serious issues. But other than that, if they can get a 350 with a 100 grain point to fly, they're gonna send you out the fucking door. And I mean, it's business to them. They got to get guys out the door, right?
Well, that's not their fault. And I mean, like the real long and short of it is what tunes for me might not tune for you. You know, your grip and your form play such a factor in archery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, and I just don't understand it. Like I've ran into dudes, kind of not in my elk spot, but near my elk spot, and you know they're hiking out or whatever, carrying a bow. Yeah, I always stop and check on guys whenever we're on the road. If I see somebody walking or whatever, I'm like, you know, what, you need anything? You good? Later. But I like pulled up, young dude, right? And I'm like, hey man, what's going on? He's like, oh, fucking D-loop ripped off my bow. I was like, oh, where are you going? He's like, going home. I'm like, why are you going home? He's like, well, I don't have a D-loop on my bow. I'm like, well, hang on. Like, pull over, tie a D-loop on this guy's bow. Like, he's like, oh, how'd you know how to do that? Oh my God. I work on all my own bows. Like,
I think people they'll and I was guilty of this too. So you know they'll get prepped, they'll get their new arrows, and they'll get their fucking rages screwed on the front, and then they overlook things like little things like that. Like to me, I think a guy should change out his D loop every spring. Like get a new one on there and get ready for the season, right? Because that's the last thing you want is you want to be yarding on that, a full draw and a screaming bull elk, and that thing breaks. Like that
smashes you in the face.
Yeah. I seen one time I was shooting with a guy, and he had a fucking, I think it was a QAD or a ripcord, I can't remember. And he was shooting a Bowtech, and he shot and it was like bang. And I'm like, man, that sounded funny. He's like, yeah, it didn't sound right. And so we went and grabbed his arrow, and I grabbed his arrow and I went to flex it, and it just snapped. This is very important to flex your arrows if you're compound guys. Like flex them arrows all the time when you're walking back to your target.
Even with a stick bow, I mean, with my stick bow, I'm bouncing that bastard off the concrete and off my neighbor's house and neighbor's cat. Whatever.
But when you're walking back from the target, just flex it. And that's what I did, and it snapped. So we got looking, and it must have been a QAD, because remember them stupid little footballs that you would clamp to your cable?
Yep.
Right. It had slid up, so his drop way didn't drop or whatever. So his arrow just basically
it was just out of time.
It was out of time. So that's what. And one thing when I was shooting compounds and I was shooting a QAD is I'd get them guys at the shop to press that. I'd get rid of that football thing they sent, and I would just serve through the cable. And just do a little heat knot or tie it on, however I did it. I served it on too, I think. And that sucker was there. It never moved, which I think was the way to go.
Yeah, it's honestly shocking how many dudes that are running drop-aways haven't read the instructions and timed them. Like there's just so many little things with compound setup that takes almost no time and almost no real experience to set up correctly and to get your bow to shoot properly, you know?
And I just feel like too, when I see a lot of guys online, you know, they're shooting and you know, there are a lot of them are new and they don't know. And I just want to like scream like, hey, you know, try to do this or do this or this or this, you know, like just to help people. Are QADs still a thing? Are guys still using them? Or
yeah. No QADs. Everybody.
What's the new latest drop away?
I think it's HDX Ultra Rest, and it's basically unchanged, really. I mean, there's the they all have dovetails built into them now for integrated riser. Like Matthews just came out with theirs. Hoyt has kind of had that for quite a while. But yeah, no, people still shoot QADs. They're good. Man,
I was in a hunting shop one time, and the guy that the creator of Ripcord Dropaways, he came in. He was up in our town doing some. He's from the lower 48.
In Canada.
He came to Canada to hunt moose, and he's like, yeah, and he had all his Ripcord shit on. I'm like, oh, do you work for Ripcord? He's like, oh, I am Ripcord. I'm like,
he's like, I'm the Ripcord brother.
And I think he was an older guy from Texas. This is a lot of years ago. I think he was from Texas. I can't remember, but yeah. Everybody used to stop in that hunting shop, man. That was in our town is the highway to Alaska or whatever they call it. So there was there's like Chris Brackett. I remember he stopped in one day. I was in there.
I don't even know who that is, bro.
You don't know who Chris Brackett is?
No, he probably
he probably fell off before you were kind of into it. You know?
I try not to know who anybody is. Like, I want to know especially the more we do this, the less I want to be tied in with people.
Arrow Affliction. It was Arrow. And then he had another show. God, what was it called?
Bedazzled Jeans or what? What are we talking about?
Oh, dude. Okay. Just Google. Google is like when he would put black paint on his face. Fucking cracked me up.
What
the hell was this show called? It was Chris Brackett. It was Arrow Affliction. And then it was, I can't remember. He got caught shooting a couple deer like in a row at the same time with one tag or some fucking thing. So they shut him down in a hurry.
Sounds like a great dude.
It's like these hunting guys, man. And this is one thing I will give to Cam. That fucking guy has went a long time without any fuck ups. Because it seems like if you're in no, man, he hasn't. Like if you look at the hunting spotlight, Bomars and fucking all these people that are the it's and who's, they fuck up eventually. I don't know if it's greed or pressure to perform or pressure to get this on film or that on film. Like Cam Haynes has went fucking 40 fucking years without a fuck up. I'm aware. Here's what I've come to realize about Cam. Okay, and this is from
talking to Cam the very little bit that I have, and then talking to Nestor and stuff. Right. I think Cam just does Cam, man. He doesn't give a fuck. Like I know he has this giant following, and you can get the impression that he's doing it for Instagram, but I think that dude just likes to freaking work hard and just like, I think that dude just wants to be in the hills suffering, like chasing elk and fucking carrying rocks around and shit. Like when I first started like watching Cam, I was like, is this real? Like, why is this guy doing this stuff? And then I don't think he cares. I think if his Instagram got deleted tomorrow, I think that dude would still be out there just doing the same stuff, working just as hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's just a normal dude that likes to just freaking work, man. I think that's it. I think that's his deal, and I think it's easy to misconstrue it when you check out his social media and stuff like that, because it's just, it's a pretty abstract idea to work a 9-to-5 job, have this crazy big following, and be out running 2 marathons a day and lifting weights and fucking carrying around rocks and all kinds of shit, right? Like, the guy's an animal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know, man. And like,
there's no denying his work ethic. That's for fuck sure.
But what I'm saying though is, like, we're talking about guys fucking up, like, getting caught spotlighting deer and all kinds of shit. I don't think he has the pressure to succeed the way a lot of these guys that are doing dumb shit do, because those guys are doing it for the wrong reasons. We've talked about on here quite a bit, like your moral, not moral, but like your reason, like what's your why for hunting? Why do you do this? Are you doing it to take photos and post about it online, or are you doing it because you want to be, as cliche as it sounds, more connected with the earth and nature and yada yada yada, right? And I think
I don't know about you, but I do it for the hashtags. That's what I'm there for.
Coming from a guy that's constantly trying to delete social media. But no, for like, real though, I think a guy like Cam though, I think that guy does it for the right reasons. You know, I don't think he's putting it on. I don't think he cares. You know, I think like his following is just a byproduct of being a complete hardworking animal. That's it.
Yeah, there's no denying that. He likes to run. That just hurts my knees looking at it.
I don't know. I like running.
Yeah, I'm not much of a runner.
Cole Hank doesn't believe. Cole Hank doesn't believe me, but I do enjoy running.
Yeah, well, Cole Hank has 2 first names, so
great point. Great point.
I always bust his balls about that. I'm like, the man with 2 first names, Cole Hank.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I don't know what were we talking about?
We were talking about guys doing shit for the wrong reasons, and you're saying,
Chris Brackett. There's so many guys over the years that just got caught. Another guy that's had a good run so far is Lee Lukoski. I don't think he's had any fuck ups either, which is tough to do because everybody's just analyzing everything you do with a fine tooth comb, right?
Yeah.
Every hunt you go on, somebody knows the rules. Like, it's just like, you know, if you got a radio and you didn't know, and you're not supposed to have a radio, and fucking people are just fucking all over you, right? That's kind of
I don't know. I think I do think it plays into the social media thing where guys have this such fucking like desire to be something on social media. It's like, I think it drives a lot of people's decisions and can really like skew their judgment, you know?
You got to understand too. So like when I was a fuck boy there when I was younger, and so there wasn't these idols to look up to on Instagram. Instagram wasn't invented. It was like Facebook. You remember Facebook? It'd be like, oh, Wasey is doing this, and then you'd be like, oh, I'm eating lunch. That was Facebook. You would post your like updates or whatever.
I never did that, to be honest.
So I remember I said to my wife, I'm like, in Canada it's called Wild TV, and I said to my wife, I'm like, we got to get this Wild TV. There's these hunting shows, and this is like 2006 probably or something. So we got Wild TV, and this is when I was like really first introduced to like this whole world of like, you know, whitetail addictions. And there was Lone Wolf Show, the Drury's, and all this shit. And I was right into whitetails, but I was kind of just flopping around like a fucking fish out of water with whitetails. And them guys, like just me watching them, that's where I picked up all my shit. And it was because of that. And so nowadays these young guys, they have Instagram. So, but the problem with what you're seeing on Instagram is this isn't fucking real. The most part, you're seeing just highlight reels of things, right?
Yeah.
So this is where a lot of the misconstrued to what it's supposed to look like comes from. Because when you're watching it on TV, it is edited and stuff, but you did see, you know, guys fuck up or get winded or this or that, right? Like you kind of followed along. So that's when I grew up, was when I was into the following guys thing. That was that time frame, right? And nowadays I just don't fucking care at all. I don't fucking follow anybody. I don't give a shit. But I can see, like, as a young guy who do in that scene, and now I just, you know, look at the young guys in the scene now, right? They just want to be Cam or whatever they want to be.
Yeah, I man, I think you just have to come by this stuff. You have to come by it, honestly, you know, like if you, like, I don't think you can set out to, like a lot of these folks that set out to be an influencer. It's like, it's never cool, you know? It's like if somebody is like a really interesting cat with a cool point of view and is doing cool stuff and is working hard, then it generally turns into something organically, you know, if like, they allow it to, right?
Yeah, like here's the thing, like you want to, like I was saying to you the other day, like what is the end goal for the Backstrap boys? Like, what is the end goal? So I'm going to tell you right fucking now, as a guy that we posted, like if you look at me and the boys' we had an Instagram page, Full Draw Life. We killed more big shit. We killed more big shit for so many years. And we did all of that. And I'm just going to tell you right now, grip and grins get you fucking nowhere. If you're trying to become in the industry, grip and grins don't get you fucking anywhere. You got to have something to offer. Like if you want to be in this industry, I'm doing air quotes. You want to be like, you got to offer something, right? Like, I think the days of like, for me anyway, like the days of grip and grins, I'm done with. Like when I'm scrolling Instagram and like you're scrolling through and there's like 200-inch muley after 200-inch muley after 200-inch muley, I'm just like fucking as fast as I can flip my thumb to get through that shit. I don't give a fuck, you know, like it doesn't matter to me anymore.
You're right back to naked ladies or what?
Yeah, man, just not fucking interested in that shit. And I do post grip and grins, but I kind of more post my stuff. I just like to just keep like a tally or like it's almost like a photo album. That's why my page is private. Like I just don't fucking care, you know?
Yeah.
As bad as that sounds, like I just want to be, I just feel like we're kind of losing our way with a lot of this shit too, right? Like, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, like I said a little earlier, like I think a lot of guys get addicted to that dopamine drip of, you know, people sending the likes and the follows and stuff like that. And like I'm obviously not anti-social media. We use it all the time. And we have this podcast, and this podcast is it's like a good way for us to build community and talk to folks and do all kinds of fun stuff, right? But I just think like if you're in it,
like I've met so many good guys, cool people off of this. That's what really I like.
Well, me too, man. And like we kind of, I remember when I was like, Lacey, I think I'm gonna start a podcast, and you were like, oh, cool. And then like I think I was probably 4 or 5 episodes in. You were like, oh yeah, I want to do that. I'm like, cool, let's do it. Let's do it together. And we've never set out on this thing to kind of like, I don't even know if we ever really had goals, did we? Like we're just like, let's just make a cool thing that's honest and not bullshit, and just let's shoot the shit and let's interview cool people, and like if it goes somewhere, it goes somewhere, right?
Like, and so I think, fuck, I'm really just pulling everybody's heartstrings today, hey? So I think that, like, when you look at some of these podcasts out there, they're just selling you shit. Like Brian Call has 30% off fucking mountain ops. Like, fuck, who cares? You think I need 30% off your fucking $25 fucking powder, my guy? Like, I don't. Like, stop. Like, and I understand they want to make a living, and fucking believe me.
What just happened?
Like, believe me, like, I don't want to work my fucking job anymore. I don't want to be in the oil patch. I've been here a long fucking time, and I just don't want to do it. And I've told Ty this a lot. Like, you know, if I could make a living fucking podcasting, I'd be all over it. But I'm not ready to fucking sell my ass for a fucking 30% discount code. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not there with it. Like, I want to, you know, I would rather just be, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say here, but it's just like, I'd rather just keep being natural and as real as possible with who I am before I sell out, and I'll just keep working my job, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's sort of the crux of the conversation that we're having right now, is that, like I think social media is all good and fine as long as you're using it for the right reasons, you know, not just being weird, you know.
And I don't want to like I'm not trying to discourage these young guys that I see coming up and just slanging and banging out there, right? And just grip and grin. Like that shit's cool, right? Like I get it. I was there one time, but I just want to like, it's not the be all end all. It's not gonna really get you where you want to be if you want to be somebody in the industry, right? Like you need to offer something up.
Well, to kind of not change topics, but to kind of circle to real life here. One of the things that I found in life with any of my businesses or, you know, anything like that, like any of those businesses, if I was passionate about them, like I actually really cared about what was going on, and it was, you know, a product or an idea or something that I was working on that actually mattered to me, right? It was something that I was doing because I was passionate, much like this podcast, right? That's where I had found success. I found success from just doing something I was passionate about, and then, you know, the money or the success came shortly after. I feel like if you let yourself be motivated by, you know, oh, I want to be an influencer, right? Like you say, oh, I'm going to set out to be an influencer inside this space. Now you're letting that drive your motivation for doing whatever it is inside that space. Like in hunting is so hard in the first place, right? So to kind of tie it back into where this started, I think a lot of these people feel the pressure to perform. And that's why you see some of these big name guys doing dumb shit that we would obviously never approve of, right? Like these guys shooting deer out of season or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
yeah, 100%.
So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you let your passions drive you in life, you find success much faster than you do if you're doing something for, you know, trying to be an influencer or whatever, right? That's all I'm saying.
And I feel like there's a lot of enough people out there giving tech tips. Like we can stop. We can stop with the tech tips.
All right. I'm going to change the subject. Speaking of a tech tip, I got a new Kifaru bag.
Oh, word.
Oh, dude, deadly. I got this. What's it called? It's called an Echo.
Check. Echo.
Dude, it's deadly. I've been using it as my, so I'm like balls deep in the hand loading and precision shooting thing right now. And kind of rightfully so. I'm getting ready for this winter goat hunt. Like, I'm not taking a bow on this hunt. I'm going to be killing it with a gun. And so the past few months, actually past like 6 months, I've been working on my shooting, working on my loading, and I've just been like steady out in the hills or at the range or whatever. And I got when that Kifaru Echo came out, I was like, hey, I want that bag. I want to try that thing. They sent me one, and it's just like, dude, it's rad. Like I fit all my crap in it. It has like a gusset, like a zipper in the back that you undo the gusset, and the whole thing expands. It's got like a stretch pocket in the front. So like I jam my tripod into the front of it. I like stick my spotter in the side of it, put like 50 rounds in an ammo case, put my lab radar in it, put like all my crap in this thing, zip it up, and like I'm dialed. Like I don't need anything. Like I have like a gun bag, and I have this Kifaru Echo, and it's just killer. It's got a frame sheet in it, so I put a whole pile of weight in it. No, I'm super stoked. Like this is a hole in my like you know, day hunting or like afternoon outing kind of situation that I've had in my kind of gear for a long time. And it's like I honestly think this bag is going to be so killer for like day hunting with the stick bow.
Yeah.
So
my daughter's just bringing me.
I'm just excited about it. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So hand loading, that's fun too, right? I like,
oh, dude.
Like everyone thinks, waste dog. He's into stick bows and archery. No, I like shooting things with a gun. Don't get me wrong. I think personally, any guy that's just like a one dimensional, like he's an archer or this or that, I think you're missing out. I think you should be well rounded in all aspects of it. I think you should be well rounded in long range shooting, close range shooting, fucking archery, everything. Just make yourself a toolbox. Like that's my goal with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
not really.
I messed up going into our goat hunt in August, not being prepared to shoot as far as I needed to,
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean, right? Just be like a well-rounded. And in mine, for me, I'm just lucky, right? I've been doing it so long that everything I just kind of know is just trial and error. Like I've went through all this shit, right? So I know but Justin's been helping me. I never really played like the custom gun game. And I was talking to Justin about it, and he was kind of giving me some tips and shit on that. But because I'm looking at going to start picking away at a custom rifle of some kind. And that's kind of new territory for me. I never done that, right? I've always just shot factory rifles, and I don't know what a lot of guys think, but for me, and just hand loading factory rifles, like it was a 500 or 600 yard kind of gun. That's what it was, right? Yeah. I think if you want to get poking out there 1,000 plus, I think a guy, you need to start doing the custom gun game, right? So personally, that's what I think. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I'm not going to be knocking on the 1,000 yard thing probably ever, but I'm having a lot of fun, and it's really fun to develop an accurate load and then go test it and shoot it. And I'm having a great time. It's good stuff, man. I'm really looking forward to putting one of these 30 nozzlers through a goat here pretty quick.
Backstrap boys style.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not through the backstrap. Hopefully through the lungs and the heart, and it just drops over, plops, dead.
What's that chrono you got there?
Ooh, it's a Labrador. Super cool.
My cousin, he's right into the long range shit. He has all the cool stuff. He has a magnetic style chrono. He said like you can chrono in the dark. Yeah, you can chrono in the dark. And he like the way he's explaining it to me, he's like basically you could find a load without ever shooting that gun on paper just off your speed deviation. Like you could basically be, this is going to be the tightest group without ever putting it to paper, kind of thing. With that setup he has, he's really smart into that shit though.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but you can definitely get a lot of data out of a chrono. I don't know if you could say, "Oh, this will be the most accurate load."
I don't know.
Just because there's so much variation in barrel and chamber, and then like at what point you are through shooting out a barrel, yada yada yada. Like I'm shooting these international barrels. They're wicked. They're made here in Chilliwack, and like this 30 Nosler. I mean, it's sped up. The load settled in around 2750 right after load development. And I've put a couple hundred rounds through it now, and it's pretty well stopped speeding up at 2850. Like I gained 100 feet per second out of that gun in a couple hundred rounds, right? On a brand new barrel. So like, and you would never know where that barrel would land without having shot it and putting it to paper. And then once you've shot it, you're going to kind of adjust stuff, right, based on your speed and all that. So I don't know. There's so many load development methods and so much debate about what's best and yada yada yada. It's a rabbit hole, man. It's like it's real fun. We actually have some really good hand loading stuff that we're going to be doing here soon. I think Jake from Unknown's going to come on. Who else? The Blackjack Bullet guys are going to come on. Who else? Pap Wink will be on. Oh, my new favorite podcast. What's the podcast name? Okay, here it is. The Backcountry Hunting Podcast.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
What were you going to say?
Cool. I thought you were going to say your favorite podcast was the gays coming out of the closet podcast, but
no, that's just rude, man. That's just what an asshole. No, okay. My honestly, my new favorite podcast right now. It's not even new. It's been out for a couple of years, but I just stumbled into it, and like a few of our listeners and one of my buddies have been sending me this thing for like a year, and I just hadn't had a chance to listen to it. And so finally, I hit play on it the other day. I'm like, this is amazing. The podcast is the Backcountry Hunting Podcast with Joseph Von Benedict.
And I've listened to that guy before. Yeah, he's Joseph Von Benedict.
Dude, that guy has the greatest voice ever. I think. What's the date today? I think hold on. When are we recording with him? Tuesday the 15th. We record with Joseph, and the first thing I'm going to say to him is, I expected that guy, by his voice, to be an old dude drinking whiskey with a corncob pipe and a floppy hat in a dark room, but he's like a young guy. He's not old. He's like our age. He's in his 30s, I bet. That dude has the best podcast voice in the history of podcast voice.
Yeah, I used to listen to him when I really, cared about podcasting people, but it was like did you ever listen to the one where he had a gun accidentally go off, and
no, I just started this. I just started it 2 weeks ago, and I sent him a message. I was like, dude, your podcast is killer. I love this. And he was like, thanks, man.
So him and his brother were playing with guns, and he had one accidentally go off, and his brother got shot. And he tells a story about it, and it's fucking pretty interesting stuff. But I used to listen to him a long time ago, whenever that was.
Circle back. He's got lots of great gun stuff. Super nice dude, too.
He's a gun guy through and through. Yeah. I think he does some archery too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think he knows Jared. I think he knows the Jared.
Joseph Von Benedict.
Yeah, cool dude. Well, we got lots of stuff coming up too, which is cool. We have 2 podcasts here before the goat hunt. And we've kind of, for everyone listening, we've kind of just had limited bandwidth this past little bit on what we've been trying to get done. Just COVID, work, babies, getting ready for hunts. So for the next bit, I'm gonna be focusing on getting ready for this this goat hunt. Try to go get a goat murdered here, and try to get Wasey feeling better off the Rona.
It's crazy, man. Like, that came through our house. I got a 6-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy, 11-year-old daughter, and a 14-year-old daughter. And nobody, the kid didn't affect the kids at all.
Fine. My kids are all fine too.
They had a runny nose for a day, and they were back to normal. And it just kicked the fuck out of me. But I've been chewing tobacco and drinking whiskey for way too many years. So I've done the opposite of take care of myself for a long time. So shit like that really kicks you down.
You're a bull riding son of a bitch, let me tell you.
B.R.S.O.B. Ty's like, send me a picture and a caption. I'm like, and I was just listening to Luke Kaufman. I'm like, well, fuck, here's a good saying for him. I didn't think he would actually post it.
Well, that's,
Did anybody ever say anything to you about that?
Oh, yeah. People really want that. Yeah. No, I got some good ones.
Yeah, we're trying. It's just tough, eh? We get home from work or kids, and
we also don't have any pressure. We do these when we feel like it too. It's the other component, right?
Mm-hmm. Like, if we were, say, making a living at it, like getting paid.
You calm down. You calm down with your making a living. You go back to freezing your dick off on the oil patch.
Then we can crank them out probably every day. But until that happens,
wait, he's going to implement a Patreon here soon. You wait.
Just to donate here so we can do this.
No. I'm just gonna have to start paying Wasey.
Just put me on your payroll.
I don't have payroll anymore, man. I don't have any employees for anything I'm doing. I am just a solo dude.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good shit. Okay, let's.
Are you backstrapped? Are you backstrapped out?
I actually that last blacktail I arrowed there. I gave a bunch of it to Ronnie because he didn't kill a deer this year. He's got a whole pile of kids too, right? I gave him a bunch of that blacktail, and then I gave my neighbor some of it. And like I was like standing there, I was like, I got 1 quarter left and 2 backstraps, so I just froze those backstraps whole. My wife keeps getting mad at me. She's like, dude, there's entire backstraps in our freezer in the kitchen. Like, can you please go put these somewhere?
So like it's like crazy, dude. So I shot that bull this year, and I shot a buck and a doe and a bear, a couple bears, and
all right, son of a bitch.
And I still had probably under half a bull moose from last year, and then that bull elk this year.
Yeah.
And with me, my wife, and 4 kids, I'm telling you, we run through that meat like unbelievable. The amount of meat we'll put through this house in a year. Like it's like almost critical that I have to at least kill an elk or a moose every year. Like I fucking have to. Otherwise
we end up buying meat too if I don't do some killing in the fall every year.
It's like for my house, like usually we never this year, but we usually have about 50 butcher birds, 50 or 60 butcher chickens. So I have my own like plucker and stuff. And we raise hogs. So, this year I'm going to butcher about 4 hogs. And then,
do you take grip and grims with them for Instagram after you shoot them?
No, generally don't do that.
You should. You should do that. That'll get you some clout.
Hogs, we have our own lane chickens.
You should rent a helicopter and fly over your property. There's a video. That'll get you some fucking clicks, let me tell you.
Just start gunning them to Ted Nugent style. Did you ever watch a video with Ted when he was out shooting out of the helicopter?
Bro, I've seen Ted Nugent live, and I've met the man. Like that guy is. Dude, I'm really out of that. Hang on. I grew up listening to Ted Nugent because my dad was like a hardcore Ted Nugent fan when he was a kid. So like, I'd be like 7 years old. My dad would stick Uncle Ted there into the cassette player, and we'd freaking cat scratch fever all the way to elementary school. I'd go into class and scream in my teacher's face. Wah!
Do you know who Pigman is?
No, but I don't want to either.
You need to know. So Pigman is like a fucking legend in the States. And
okay.
So you got to watch Pigman videos on YouTube because he literally what his name is. He's a very well-rounded hunter. He's a good archer.
I feel like you could be the next Pigman.
Oh, boy, yeah. Like I'd fucking kick it with Pigman any day. Guy's cool as fuck. But Pigman and Ted were in the helicopter. And so they give Ted they had a guy in the helicopter loading magazines.
Yeah.
And they give Ted a full auto. You gotta find this video on YouTube. Ted, they're flying over. Ted's just and he's laughing the whole time, and they're just fucking slaughtering hogs. And it was like, so Pigman's telling the story. He's like, oh fuck. He's like, I just look over and there's just brass flying from Uncle.
That's like me shooting wolves this August. You're like, dude, slow down. I'm just cycling the action.
Well, you were the only gun we had.
Yeah, I brought a bow. In retrospect, next time.
And I was like, how many? So he'd be like, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, hold on. I'm like, hold on. Give me a fucking shell count on what you got going on here. Like, what do you got left? Because if you got 4 left, the wolves ain't getting shot at anymore. So just chill. Dude, I remember
this one point of the hunt. Okay, so for context here, Wasey's around wolves all the time. He's a trapper. deals with these things, walks up on them. No big deal to Wasey, right? I, on the other hand, have had like 1 or 2 wolf encounters in my life up to this point. We're like in this valley with 16 of these bastards, right? And they're just like, they're running up on us like Crip and Blood style, like doing drive-bys, checking in. And I think I posted the video, I can't remember, but Wasey at this point is real annoyed with how much attention I am paying to these wolves. I'm like, Wasey, those wolves are running right to us. You're like, Tyler, pay attention to the fucking goats. And I'm like, no, Wasey, those wolves are right there, bro. He's like, dude, I don't care about the wolves. Just like spray it with your bear spray or something. And I'm like, I don't want to spray a wolf with bear spray. I want to shoot it in the fucking face so it doesn't eat me. And he's like, it's not going to eat you. Just hit it with a trekking pole. I'm like, what is wrong with you, man?
Well, dude, I fucking... You
were deeply annoyed that I was so concerned about these wolves.
I wouldn't worry about... Yeah, I'm not worried about wolves at all. Like they're not going to usually fuck with you. Like I think the honest to God truth is that they didn't know what the hell we were. Like,
so I got some intel actually on those wolves. Those wolves are up there every summer, I found out. And the outfitter in that area, who I have since been talking to, they trap the hell out of those wolves too.
Well, he better step it up.
Yeah, I was like, you need to import
like when you're talking packs, like 12 to 14 wolves. Mm-hmm. I can almost guarantee you that no one is trapping them wolves. That is a fucking big pack. Where I'm from, we do not get packs of 12 to 14, and if we do, they're getting fucking killed. Like that's not a common thing in my opinion. Like that's like a super pack.
There you go, super pack. We knocked it down. Okay. Speaking of ripcords, let's pull it. I got to get a kid to school.
All right.
Any final thoughts? Do you have
no, not really. Just fucking.
You have anything you want to scream from the rooftops?
No, nothing pressing, man. Just shoot straight. Keep her on the rubber side down.
Keep her on the rubber side down. If they don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Good day. We should try to be more Canadian, I think. That would be better. What's that? What was that guy? He was like, oh, I'm Leroy. That's Leroy. Yeah, there's always something to do.
Well, Jared said we sound Canadian, but I can't fucking see it. I don't know what he's talking about.
Me either. Okay, write in, eh? Send us a message and tell us if we sound Canadian. Okay? Great day. All right. Cool. Later.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed the podcast, please subscribe and leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at Wilderness Locals. If you want to support the podcast, please check out the gear, articles, and whatever else we're up to on the website at www.wildernesslocals.net.